So I'm making this video with some encouragement from some things that I've been seeing online, and particularly related to Irish people. So first off, I want to just say that I am getting my master's currently to be a mindfulness-based therapist, but I'm also pursuing my PhD in transpersonal psychology. And one of the focus of my studies is on historical trauma or ancestral trauma, multi-generational trauma, intergenerational trauma. It's known by many, many names. And I am an Irish diaspora. Okay, so I grew up in the US. My parents grew up in the US. My grandparents emigrated. My grandfather grew up part of the time in Ireland and grew up part of the time in the US. And on my dad's side, they came over to Canada during the famine, so in 1847, and then emigrated down into the US. And my grandparents, my mom's side, so my mom is 100% Irish, she's nothing else, and I'm 75%. So if that gives you an idea of like how much Irish blood I have, that's how much I have. So and then I have the typical mixes that you would see in Ireland, where I have Irish, Scottish, Welsh, a very small percentage of English, and yes, I have ancient ancestors that trace back to Anatolia and even India. So that gives you an idea of, yes, I am, and even they trace back into Roscommon. So that gives you an idea of how much Irish blood actually pumps through my veins. And that is the point of what I want to talk about in these videos, is what is Irish. And I think that with everything that's going on in Ireland now, there is a loss of identity, and this is a part of one of the things that happens with historical and ancestral trauma. Now, I also want to point out that I have a very close tie with tribes here in the US. So both of my children are enrolled in the Crow tribe, which means that they're federally recognized as Crow. Their dad is 100% Crow and Arapaho and Potawatomi, so he's full Native, but has an Irish last name, oddly enough. So, you know, so I've been deeply tied into the Native community. My closest friends are also Native. You know, a woman that I call my sister is Northern Cheyenne. Her dad, you know, took me in as his daughter. So I am very closely tied into that community as well. I'm saying this all because this is the reason why I became interested in ancestral or historical trauma. Because I was seeing all of the patterns that play out in Native communities, but also was seeing it within my own family and within my own community, right? So there's this sentiment that Irish people have just been like pulled into this group, and they're carrying a burden and a way of thinking that isn't the same as everyone else. And it's actually much more like the tribal people of here. And the reason why is because Irish people of Irish blood are a tribal community. They had a tribal government. They had tribal laws. This is very, very different than hierarchical or imperial law. So our way of being and our way of thinking is very different. And I'm going to be making a series of videos that kind of dives into all of the different aspects of this. But there's one thing I want to make very, very clear to my brothers and sisters in Ireland and the rest of the diaspora that are scattered around the world. The Irish people are a tribal people. We're a tribal people, and it's in your blood, and you know it. You know it. There's a reason why we're so full of pride that we're Irish, because there is something different about us. And there is an active movement to erase us and have us carry a burden that is not our own. It's not ours to carry. And that burden is that we're supposed to be ashamed because we have a lighter skin tone. And that's wrong. That's wrong. And I will get into that even more on other videos. But there is such an active movement to erase us that just last week I was looking up how many Irish people are in the world, and it said there was 3.2 million Irish in Ireland, and there was a total of anywhere from 50 to 70 million globally who are diaspora. And it was a range because that depended on who you consider diaspora. Like, there's people that claim Irish descent, you know, who's to say if they actually do have Irish descent or not, or they're Scotch Irish, or they have 1/1,000,000th Irish, you know. That's that number. To put it in perspective, there are 1.81 billion with a B, Indians globally. So that is a huge population disparity, okay? There are about 3.2 million Native people in the US. So, and that's all of the tribes combined. That's everyone who's federally enrolled that doesn't, or, you know, is federally recognized, that doesn't take into account individual tribes, right? But our numbers are the same. But what is crazy is, I looked up this morning how many Irish people are in Ireland, and it erased that number. Before, it said there was 5.3 million people in Ireland, 3.2 being Irish. Now it just says there are 5 million Irish people in Ireland. So if you can't see that they're trying to erase us, I don't know what to tell you.